Storm Floris is heading in across the UK for the start of next week. How unusual is it to have a summer storm? Well, not as unusual as you might think. In fact, we had at least one over the last few years, and that's partly because the sensitivity of the naming convention is really heightened in the summer months when, of course, you've got more people out and about, you've got more people doing day trips, you've got more events happening, you've got leaves on the trees, and you've got people camping. All of that means that when the winds are looking pretty strong, the impacts are potentially a lot higher. And that is partly why the Met Office have named a deep area of low pressure moving in for the back end of the weekend and into next week as Storm Floris. Let's have a look at what's going on. You can see that at the moment we've got high pressure stretching in across the UK, which has given a relatively settled end to the week. But if we run that sequence over the next few days, first of all, we've got a bit of rain moving in the back end of Sunday night, and then there is Storm Floris, which is just a really deep area of low pressure that zooms across the UK and it clears off the scene by the time we get to Tuesday. Now, by the time we get to the middle of the week and into Thursday, Storm Floris is long gone, but in the wake of that, we've got an area of high pressure which is stretching in behind. Now, because a Storm Floris, which is essentially just a really deep area of low pressure, which we have named, has been so significant, it's actually encouraged high pressure to really develop and expand towards the south of us. So really, although we have to put up with 24 or so hours of wet and windy weather, the payoff for that is the fact that we get some much better weather off the back of it. So really from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday onwards, certainly across more southern parts, we get some really lovely conditions starting to build. Now, we're also getting a vaguely southerly direction of that wind as well. And you can see we're not far off tapping into the really warm air that sits across the near continent. So there is the potential for temperatures to really start rising as we move towards the end of next week. But of course, for the here and now, we do have weather warnings in force associated with that storm. And as you can see, it's mostly sitting across the northern parts of the UK. It's going to be windy for everybody, but the warning area as it stands is here across northern parts of the UK. The potential, of course, for this to be escalated, maybe to an amber weather warning as well, and gusts of up to 85 miles an hour. If you are out and about on the roads, of course, as I say, the trees are in full leaf at the moment, so there's much more for the wind to hit against. Not much in the way of rain, I don't think. It is really very much a wind feature, but we've got some very strong gusts expected, particularly there towards more northern parts of Scotland, which is definitely worth bearing in mind if you are out and about in the early part of next week. And as I say, as it stands, those weather warnings are in force from 6 a.m. on Monday to 6 a.m. on Tuesday. But as always, it's really worth keeping up to date with this developing situation for the very latest where you are.